Do you recognize what's shown in this photograph? Yes. Okay. Does this photograph show where your car was when you pulled into the parking lot of the Fat Burger when you testified you initially stopped while Eric Holder started eating some food? Yes. Can you point that out for us using that pointer in front of you? Okay. You're pointing to a parking lot on the right side of the alley. Appears to be the parking lot for the business marked Fat Burger. And you're pointing to an area just sort of north of the middle of the parking lot and just about the middle of the parking lot east and west. Okay. Were you in a parking stall there? I kind of just remember this part right here. I know I wasn't too close right here, but I know I was like somewhere right up in here. When you say, I know I wasn't too close right here, you mean you weren't too close to the window where food is passed out of the Fat Burger, correct? Correct. So you were somewhere south of that location. Approximately how many car lengths away from the building were you? What do you mean when you ask me that? How about feet? Can you point to something in this room, or can you tell us about how many feet away you were from the building? 1 feet. Okay. 1 foot's about this. This is 1 foot. Okay. And I'm showing you with a ruler. You have a hard time with distances? Yes. Okay, so let me tell you what a car length is and see if that helps. Do you see the cars in those parking stalls down at the bottom of the parking lot? Do you see how they're parked? Yes. Yes. So if that car was in the same position, but it was up against the building of the Fat Burger, let me show you with the pointer. So a car length is the length of one car from the hood to the trunk. That's a car length. Do you understand that? I understand that. So when I ask you how far you were away from the building, I'm asking you if cars were leaned up from trunk to hood, how many cars away from the building were you? Do you understand the question? Like how many cars was like in that area where I was at parked? No, I'm asking you distance. If from where you were stopped, I'm trying to find out how close you were to the building of the Fat Burger. So from where you were stopped, if cars were lined up between where you were and the building, how many cars would it take to get there? Do you understand the question? No. All right, forget the question. Your testimony is that you were approximately stopped in the middle of this parking lot, east to west, and a little bit north of the midline, so in front of this gray line or drainage line that runs through the parking lot. You were somewhere on this side of that, correct? Correct. Meaning closer to the Fat Burger, is that right? Right. You testified that he started eating food there, is that right? That's right. And then you moved your car through the parking lot into this alley towards 58th Place, correct? Correct. When did he get out of your car? He got out of my car when I stopped. He was talking to me at the time, telling me that he wanted to go get something. Let me stop you. Just listen to the question. All right. Okay? Where was your car when he got out of it? It was like right there before the driveway. Like I was about to get ready to leave, but I was right there like, is it right where I have the cursor? Up a little bit. Right there? Yes. Okay. So you were in front of the driveway that leads to 58th Place, a few feet in front of that, correct? Correct. Is that where he got out of your car? Yes. Is that where you testified he said, wait here, I'll be right back? Right. And did you see him walk off northbound? That would be toward the top of this photo with his food container in his hand. Yes. Did you see any guns at that point? No. Did you see what he did with the gun that you had seen him manipulating earlier? When he got out the car? Yes. No, I didn't see it. Did you see any guns left in your car when he got out where he was sitting? No. When he said, I'll be right back, did he give you any other explanation for why he was walking away from the car or why he wanted you to wait there? No. Did you know what he was going to do? No. Did you ask him what he was going to do? No. Why not? 'Cause he always just leave. He told me he'll be right back, so I just didn't ask him where he was going. I just assumed that maybe he wanted to get something from the plaza or something like that. Was that the first time he ever told you wait somewhere without any explanation? No. Had he done that before? Yes. So on this occasion, is it your testimony that that didn't seem odd or strange to you? Yes, it didn't seem odd at all. Now, after he walked off, some minutes passed and then you heard gunshots and he came running back, correct? Correct. And the first person you saw after the gunshots was some man you didn't know running, correct? Correct. And then after that, he, Eric, came running back to your car, correct? Correct. Now before okay. You testified that when he got out of your car and walked away from your car, you testified that you didn't know why he was going back to the plaza. Is that correct? That's correct. Did you know he was going back to the plaza? No, I just watched him. When he got out the car, I seen him walking that way. Okay, and so then when you testified that he was coming back to the plaza, that was what, an assumption or just based on everything you know after the fact? Just based that we was there, so I was just assuming he was going back there? Okay, so even at the time you assumed he was going back there? Yes. So you testified, and I want to get back to where we were yesterday, that he came back, he jumped in the car, and he told you to drive, correct? Correct. Was he angry at all when he got back in the car? Did he seem angry to you? Yes, he seemed like he had an attitude. Was that the first time that day that he seemed angry or seemed like he had an attitude to you? On my way going, he didn't want me to touch him on his stomach. He didn't want me to touch him on our way going there. What do you mean by that? I was just like, oh, you hungry? Touch his stomach. And then he was just like, don't touch me. You better touch one of them Disneyland dudes or whatever. He made a comment on our way going. Okay, and let me just clarify that. Before you picked him up that day, you testified that you were working. Part of your work had to do with transporting someone to Disneyland, correct? Correct. All right. And so when he made that comment to you about touching one of those Disneyland dudes, did it appear to you that he was expressing maybe some jealousy about you going to Disneyland? Yeah, maybe because I went to work and then I didn't chill with him the day before I went to work? Okay. So you tried to touch his stomach at some point playfully, and he wouldn't let you touch his stomach? Correct. All right. I don't really want to go off in that direction. I want to get back to what was happening at this plaza. All right. So he gets back in the car. He tells you to drive. You heard the gunshots. You start to drive right away, correct? Correct. What were you thinking at that point? I was just like, oh my God, what's going on? What happened? What's going on? Were you saying that to yourself, or were you saying that out loud to him? I said it out loud to him when he got in the car, but then I started talking to myself, I want to know what's going on, So when you asked him what's going on, what happened, what was his response? He was just like, shut up, you talk too much before I slap you, just like that. So after he said that to me, I just thought to myself, I want to know, what's going on. Okay, so obviously you felt, or did you not feel that was very strange behavior on his part? Yes, I felt it was strange, and then I was scared too because I didn't know what was going on. Were you afraid of him at that point? Yes. Why were you scared of him? Because he wasn't talking to me. He wasn't answering my question. Okay, did he also have a gun? Yes. And did he also threaten to hit you for the first time since you've known him? Yes. So was it all for those reasons and the fact that you heard gunshots that you were afraid? Yes. I don't want to put words in your mouth. If you don't agree with what I'm saying, then tell us you don't agree. All right. Were you afraid of him? Yes. Why were you afraid of him? Because he had the gun and everything, and I didn't want him to hit me with it. Hit me with the gun when he said he was going to slap me. Okay. When you talked to investigators about this for the first time, did they talk to you about what happened when he first got back into the car? Yes. Okay. Did you tell them that after he threatened to hit you, that had an effect on you because of something that happened in the past? Correct. Just tell us briefly what went through your mind when he threatened to hit you. I just felt afraid and scared just because I was in a situation before and I had to go to a trauma room because my face got messed up by being with another guy like that. Okay, So what you told investigators is you got into an argument with someone in the past, another man, while driving, correct? Correct. And the argument led to a really bad accident. Is that correct? Correct. And did that cross your mind during this time when he told you to drive or I'll slap you? Yes. So when you said you went to a trauma room, you went to a hospital? Correct. Okay. And you had facial injuries? Yes. And arm and foot. Okay. Did you knew something bad happened in that parking lot at that point, didn't you? Yes. What did you think happened in the plaza parking lot? I just felt like I know there was a shooting going on. I didn't know if he was a shooter. I didn't know if he was getting shot at. I just knew something had happened. You were in control of the car that you were in as you were driving away from the location, correct? Correct. You could have pulled the car over, parked, and said to him, I'm not moving until you tell me what happened. You could have done that, correct? I was afraid to do that, to stop the car. Why? Because he had a gun. He already talked to me about slapping me, and like I just said before about the accident. I've been through that before, so I didn't want to keep questioning him about it. Did you see any injuries on his body when he returned to the car? No, I didn't notice any. Okay. Where did you go immediately after leaving the alley at 58th Place? He told me to take him to his cousin's house, Harold.